Hey, if you like this video, please give it a like. And go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Coffee Shop Health. We've got training videos, workouts, mobility drills, shakes, recipes, all kinds of stuff that can help you be a better athlete today. All right, guys. So it's the Coffee Shop Health Diet Explained. When I put this together, I just kind of started jotting down all of the things that my coaches and I put together to create what we now call the Coffee Shop Health Diet. What we did was we thought about, we sat down and we talked, what is it that we all do to keep ourselves in the shape that we're in? And we're all in pretty good shape. And so we just kind of wrote down everything independently of what we did, like what was most important to us. And when we looked at each other's papers, we found a lot of commonalities in the things that we're actually doing. Commonalities. Is that a word? It's a word now. So, first things first, we looked at the quality of the food that we were eating. The quality was most important. We were all eating the proper things. We were all eating things that were going to fuel our body, help us recover, help us feel good. And when I say feel good, I don't mean feel good about eating like you're eating ice cream. Like you eat something and it actually fuels your body in a way that makes you mentally clear, physically able to perform the tasks that you want to perform that day. Second thing we looked at was the quantity of the foods that we were eating. So we were eating the right things. We were eating the right amount of things, or food, I should say. The right food and the right amount of food. Now, the quality is much, much more important because most of the time when we're looking at other people's diets, they're not eating enough. That's the big problem. They're eating the wrong quality. The quantity actually isn't that large, which leads to a slower metabolism and a whole other mess of other things. And we can get into that later. But I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stick to the first model for right now. Right foods, the right amount. The third thing was sleep. Now you might think, sleep has nothing to do with a diet. You're right. Sleeping has nothing to do with calories and macros and vitamins and all that stuff, directly anyways. But we all realized how important it was that we got proper rest. We let our bodies heal. We let our bodies recover from the stress and the training and the activities that we went through that day. Sleep was so important. It helps regulate growth hormone. It helps repair damaged tissue and damaged cells. People think protein does that, and it does, but you're only really utilizing these proteins and they're only really doing their job of recovery while you sleep. So the right foods, the right amounts, taking our recovery seriously. And then the fourth thing was our training. You might think that training goes at the top, and for some people it might, but I can tell you right now, if you're trying to optimize your health, training does not belong at the top of this pyramid, not at all. And I'm sure you've seen this before. You will lose weight and get healthier and feel better if you take care of the top 3 aspects on this pyramid without ever stepping foot in the gym, without ever doing a workout, without ever increasing your physical activity. You will see better results in your mentality, your physique, and the way that your body actually feels if you take care of the top 3 before you prioritize training. Now, moving on, training is an important part of the pyramid. Obviously, right? Because first of all, it's on the pyramid, right? And it's not at the bottom, it's in the middle. So definitely has a role and is important in longevity, wellness, and health. Anyways, so yeah, the kind of training that you're doing matters. The way that you're training matters. How long you're training, the way you periodize your training, all of that matters, absolutely. Which is why all of us have a little bit of a different physique. We have different things that we're good at. For example, I am more of a power lifter and a strength athlete. Joe is more of a functionality kind of guy. He can do a little bit of everything from heavy deadlifts to heavy squats to handstands. Anna is a cheerleader. We've got Tay, who's also an Olympic weightlifter, and he used to be a powerlifter and a bodybuilder. So all of the training that we've done has created a skill set and a physique that reflects the kind of training that we engage in. Now, if your goal is to build muscle, that's going to be much different than the person that wants to lose weight. But again, if we're optimizing health, these are the first 3 things we need to take care of. Then we can get into, okay, now we're healthy, now we're eating the right things, we're feeling better. Where do I want to take my body? Everyone wants to be healthier, but maybe you've got some more specific goals. That's where the training is going to kind of help shape your body and shape your skill set into the things that are important to you, what you want. Now, moving down, we've got timing. Timing is important for all of this stuff. Eating the right kinds of foods at the right time. Sleeping, the amount of time that you sleep, right? That's important. When you're going to sleep, we want to try to follow circadian rhythm. We want to try to make sure that we are following our body's natural ability to fall asleep and wake up. Timing is important for that. Training. Fasted cardio in the morning, we all know, has a little bit of a better effect on lipolysis, or your body's ability to burn fat for energy. Or if you're a strength athlete, you probably don't want to train on an empty stomach in the morning. Some people might like to do that, and if you're successful with that, that's fine. I've done that before, and I've had good days and bad days, but I found that most of the time, my best training sessions came in the afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 4 o'clock. I wasn't too tired, because it wasn't late in the day. I wasn't malnutritioned or malnourished, because it was in the morning. I didn't have anything to eat. In the middle of the day, where I kind of had a couple meals in me and hadn't done too much, that's when I got my best training sessions. So I paid attention to timing. Another good example on timing is, we all know fruits are good, right? Fruits are great. You never want to abstain from eating fruits. However, eating a giant fruit cocktail before you go to bed is probably a bad idea. You got a lot of glucose in there, a lot of fructose, depending on the kind of fruits that you choose. You're getting a high spike in your blood sugar right before you go to bed. That's not something you want. That's going to allow your body to store more fat rather than burn it while we sleep. That's what we want to focus on, is getting our body to metabolize fat while we're sleeping. You can't do that if you have a bunch of sugar before you go to bed. And the last thing on the pyramid is supplements. If you know how to use them, they are extremely useful. However, supplements are not going to make up for deficiencies on top of the pyramid. You have to realize that the supplement is not going to pick up any slack. The supplement is not going to supplement for sleep or bad training or poor diet or eating too much or eating too little. Supplements help make each one of these aspects of the pyramid work better, but you can't neglect them and think a supplement's going to pick up any sort of slack. When you optimize these 4 things here, quality, quantity, sleep, timing, and training, supplements are going to come in and push it a little bit further, maybe an extra 1 to 2% on these aspects here. A good example would be maybe taking a glucose disposal agent, or GDA, with some of your higher carb meals. They're going to help you absorb your carbohydrates a little bit more efficiently. Taking some carnitine before you do your training in the morning does have a mildly effective effect on metabolizing more body fat. And the carnitine is also nootropic, so it can help you focus a little bit better. Anyways, that is figure 1 here. That is what most of our diet, most of our lifestyle is based on, is this pyramid. I screenshot that because I think that this is pure gold, and the fact that we're giving it away as free information, I think is great. And if you took anything from this video and you didn't engage with Coffee Shop Health at all, you didn't engage with me or any of the other coaches, and that's fine if you don't, but if you use this pyramid to base your lifestyle, dietary, and training decisions off of for the next 3 to 6 months, I guarantee It'll change your life. Try it. If you're already healthy and you're already in great shape, you're probably already doing these things. So you can be a poster child for me and for yourself that, yeah, this is probably the most important. But if you're somebody who's lost and somebody who needs help and doesn't exactly know how to start, this pyramid is for you. It's yours. Use it. All right? Now, that's number one. We're gonna go over to number two over here. This is essentially our diet, right? So this was our lifestyle. This is the diet. What did we base our diet on? Well, first things first, whole foods, minimally processed foods. Foods that when you buy it at the grocery store, it looks similar to the way it was butchered or grown, or close to the way it looks on the farm, you know? A good example, chicken breast is gonna probably be much higher quality and much better for you than a chicken dog, or like any sort of processed form of chicken. Or beef is another great one. Beef, steak, things like that. Good for you, but hot dogs, processed beef, things like that, probably gonna be a little bit lower on the scale and aren't optimal for the Coffee Shop Health diet or for you. So whole food, right? That's number one, making sure your foods are farm fresh, essentially. Second thing was, we focused our plates around our protein and vegetable consumption. Now, real quick, I'm gonna take you down to this plate here. You can see protein, veggies, fat, and carbs. Proteins and veggies make up most of the plate. Fat and carbs, those are energy sources, okay? So we'll talk about these a little bit more, but protein, vegetables, micronutrients, fiber, trace carbohydrates, things that are going to make your body feel good. Protein, which is not really an energy source, used more for recovery, used more for satiation to help you feel full, all right? These two things are extremely important, that you focus on making sure your plate is mostly protein and veggies. At least that's what we put together, and that's what's worked for us. Focus on protein and veggies. Next, moving down, correct carbohydrates. I drew some arrows here. If you follow along, the time you're having certain carbs, the quality of your carbohydrates, right? Not processed sugar carbs, not pixie sticks and candy, right? We don't really want to use those. You can have them, that's not something you want to focus on your diet with, right? And then the quantity, how much carbs you're actually consuming. Now, don't get it, twisted. This is not a keto diet. This is not a carb restrictive diet. But we are going to focus on correcting the carbs, having them at the right time, the right kinds of carbs, and the right amounts of carbs. Those are extremely important. If you can't manage your carbohydrates, you're going to have a real tough time improving your body composition. So keep that in mind. All right, moving on to fat. All right, we want to monitor the fat. What I mean by that is fat and carbohydrates are both energy sources, right? So we've got two sources of energy. And most of us aren't going to need a whole lot of both of them. Even if you're a high-level athlete, your plate probably shouldn't be full of fats and carbohydrates. Take a look here. Obviously, they're only making up about 30%, maybe even a little bit less, maybe more like 27% of the plate. So you want to kind of figure out, is this going to be a higher carb meal for me? Or is this going to be a kind of a higher fat meal for me? We can help you figure that out. The diet, the template, what we send out to you guys, the way we explain things, it will help you choose fat or carbs for this meal. So when we say monitor fat, that's more so making sure that your fat to carbohydrate ratio is appropriate. We don't want our plate to start looking like fat, carbs is on most of it, and then a little bit of veggies and a little bit of protein. We don't want that. All right, so that brings us down to figure number 3, the perfect plate, which is what I've been referring to this whole time. Most of the plate, you want to be protein, vegetables, right? And then our energy sources, fat and carbs. We have got to be conscious, I can't stress that enough, about what energy source we're gonna put into our body for this meal. All right, perfect plate. We have a great graph and diagram of the perfect plate in our Coffee Shop Health Handbook So you guys get that. It'll break this down a lot more in detail for you and answer a lot of the questions and things I'm kind of skimming over. These are just my notes on a whiteboard, guys. I'm trying to break it down and make it simple. All right, so one thing that I almost forgot about, it's supposed to be a plus sign, not times. Plus water, okay? So we don't really put too much emphasis on how much water you should have with each meal. Everyone's gonna be different. Everyone's gonna feel differently about that. But you wanna make sure that you're having water with every meal. Cellular hydration is so important to getting these nutrients into your body and getting them to where they wanna go. Dehydration is not a place you wanna be, especially if you're trying to optimize your health, lose weight, feel better, build muscle. Dehydration is something that kills physiques all the time. So, moving on, figure 4, following these cool little red line arrows I built here. Enjoy life. Like, that's what this is about. Enjoying your life, feeling better, optimizing your health, grabbing onto the body that you want and holding it. That is what we're doing here. That's the 4th step here. Once you learn how to make this work for you guys, enjoy your life. If the diet and the training and the lifestyle that you're living right now is stressing you out, you don't feel good about yourself, you don't like the way you feel, you're not enjoying your life, then something here needs to change, or something here needs to change. Enjoy yourself. Stressing about diets, stressing about training, stressing about anything else, you gotta manage that. And this right here can at least help you manage the way that your body responds to training, sleep, and your diet. So, what you put in is what you get out. Put effort into the quality, put effort into the quantity. Sleep, extremely important. Don't skip that. 6 to 8 hours a night. Train appropriately. Eat the right things at the right times, and use supplements accordingly. But only after you've mastered this stuff. Thanks for checking it out.